Hello and welcome to Empower Hour topic sessions. The poll is out, the results are in. So that's what today's topic is about. Earlier this week, I sent out a poll asking hiring managers to weigh in on the biggest challenges they tend to see in their hiring process. Is it not getting enough candidates and resumes for your opening to start and run an efficient, effective interview process? Is it experiencing turnover within your organization, or is it managing the process as a whole? Well, I guess just bear with me here. Sorry about the internet interruption. I don't know if you guys can hear me when it goes out. Keeps happening even though I am hooked up to the landline, but I'm ready to go. So we're just gonna power through, and sometimes these things happen. Okay, so as of Monday, Tuesday, the biggest challenge that hiring managers were reporting in the hiring process was turnover, experiencing turnover within your organization. However, today in the lead is not getting enough resumes and candidates. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. My name is Amy Miller. I'm a recruiter, author, speaker, and coaching consultant specifically in the hiring space, helping organizations establish the ideal process for your interviewing and hiring to decrease turnover and eliminate some of those unnecessary stresses and challenges in the hiring process. All right, so what do you do? What can you do if you are not getting enough of the right candidates and resumes? And we're back. I'm so sorry. I think I'll do another pre-recorded video addressing this topic after, in case the topic interests you guys and you're missing pieces of it. So yeah, so what can you do if you're not getting enough of the right candidates and resumes? And then more importantly, why are you experiencing the problem? As always, the answer to the problem is in the problem. And when we take a deeper look, peel back a few layers to figure out and really focus on the frustration, what is it that's bothering us, and now why is this happening? That's when you can identify the real issue. And then once you solve the real issue, guess what? Those surface level, as I like to call them, challenges go away. So, and these tips that we'll talk about today can be effective and impactful whether you're working with an external recruiter or your internal recruiting team. I am seeing a lot of companies currently working more closely with their internal recruiting team. My internet went out again. So I was saying that I'm seeing a lot of companies working more closely with utilizing rather their internal recruiting team a little bit more. So let's first take a look at your communication. Whenever you whenever you have an opening and you first establish that connection with your recruiter, whether it's their internal or external, what is your communication like with your recruiter? Are you connecting with them on the phone for a good 20 to 30 minute conversation, telling them about the specifics of this territory, if it's a sales position, of this role, and what it is you're looking for and why? Because each opening, even if it is maybe the same opening but across the nation, if it's a different territory, there might be, if you're in medical sales, there might be different systems within that territory that you are looking for relationships in or experience navigating. And even if your recruiter is familiar with you and your even if your recruiter is familiar with you and your company and your organization and the products, there's going to be nuances to each specific territory. And what that means is there's going to be questions. So you always want to first have that communication, that initial conversation with your recruiter, and talk about maybe 3 different profiles. Definitely talk about your number one ideal profile. One of my hiring managers I'm working with, one of my clients said the other day, if I could wave a magic wand, my magic wand candidate. And I told him that's great. Yes, give me your magic wand candidate, because that way I can really narrow my focus and find more of what you're looking for and faster, because we get better results with a narrowed focus rather than varied, because then your recruiter is going to be taking time sorry about that. With a broader focus, of course, we're going to take time, we're going to spend more time, we're going to waste more time in the wrong areas that are maybe not what you want. So you want to be very specific, very clear, very direct with exactly what you want and why, and maybe think about and articulate 3 different profiles. This is my magic wand candidate profile. This is a little bit outside of the box, but can also work. And this is a profile where we're maybe checking some of the boxes, but not all. And this can still be a good fit. And share the reasons why. That's going to help your recruiter better understand the dynamic of the role, the day in the life, the opportunities, the challenges, and the culture. The team culture can have some nuances that vary a little bit from the division culture. And of course, each division, if you're with a company that has multiple divisions, can have some very nuances in the culture as well. And the better picture, the clearer picture, thank you guys for your patience if you're still watching. The clearer picture that your recruiter has of the culture, the role, the better that they can articulate that and identify those intangible skill sets that may go beyond just a resume alone when they're having conversations with candidates. And then they can save time, because anytime, and they can save you time, they can save themselves time in their search. They can save potential candidates time, weeding them out if they're not a fit so that they can get back focused on their day, and they can save you time. And expanding a little bit more on this topic of the communication with your recruiter, let's say you do have, or you did have, that initial conversation about what you're looking for and why, yet you're still not getting the right candidates. What you want to do then is give your recruiter a call. Yes, you can send them an email. Sure, you can send them a text, but it's so easy to miscommunicate and to misinterpret. As I was saying, it's so easy to misinterpret communication. A lot of times we don't say clearly, directly, honestly what it is we really mean. And then even when we do, sometimes it's not fully understood. So if you're not getting the right candidates, you want to give your recruiter a phone call, whether they're internal or external. Yes, that's going to take a little bit more time, but as I often like to say, taking time later creates time, because if you don't take that time, you're now frustrated getting more of the wrong candidate submissions, and you're not understanding why this is happening. Your brain is kind of scrambling, trying to figure out, well, we had this conversation. Why are they not sending me the right candidates? Give them a call, have the conversation so that you guys can get on the same page. And then that's going to later save you time, because you're more likely to clear up the miscommunication. You're more likely to clear up the miscommunication and then get more of the candidates that you are looking for. Also, with any relationship in business, with your customers, with your team, and also in your personal relationships, the strong relationships where we really connect take nurturing in order to support and grow that relationship. And who do you tend to work harder for? And who do you tend to value more? People that value you, people that understand you. So you have that connection, you have that communication, that connection, which allows you to understand each other. And your recruiter is going to work harder for you if the better that they know you. So you want to give them time. So I have a lot of clients that I've worked with over the years and currently that give me time. And I really appreciate that. It makes me feel valued. We all want to feel valued, and we don't feel value without connection. Occasionally, I'll have a hiring manager say, I've got about 1 minute to talk. Well, then I have about 1 minute to work on your opening. Not really, but if I'm really busy, and if your recruiters are really busy balancing working on multiple openings, who do you think that they're going to work harder for? And also for you hiring managers, this is a lot of trust to be putting into somebody to hunt for your next team member. So giving them that time where you guys establish that connection, that relationship is going to get stronger over time, and they're going to better understand you and your leadership style and the dynamics of your team and the challenges and opportunities of the role. And so they're going to get faster at finding what it is you're looking for. So number one is communication in the hiring process, whether it is getting resumes, whether it is the interview process, onboarding the ideal candidate. You cannot take communication out of the equation. Otherwise, that is very likely to result in turnover. As I was saying, when you take communication out of the equation, you're more likely to have turnover later, because important details can be missed. And then you can realize one side or the other side, company or candidate, you know what, this is actually not a fit. So number one, if you're not getting enough of the right resumes, connect with your recruiter. And we're going to talk about the process, but I want to go ahead and go into another key point, which you may not have thought about, and that is what drives your recruiter. So with my one-on-one professional career coaching clients, I always have them complete an exercise which I call identifying your drivers, because we're all going to have, there's no right or wrong. We all have different things that drive us, that inspire us, that motivate us, that light us up. And when we are doing that thing that lights us up, when we feel the way we want to feel, we're on fire. We're going to be more focused. We're going to get more done. And so we're going to be more focused when we're focusing in the direction of our drivers, doing the thing that drives us. We're going to be more focused. We're going to work harder, and we're going to achieve more with less effort. So if you're working with an internal recruiting team, if your organization has moved in the direction of maybe only working with your internal recruiting team, find out what drives them. You know, if you're not, have some conversations to help the recruiter understand themselves, if they haven't thought about it already, what drives them, and have that conversation with them so that you also know what drives them, so that you can help them work in that direction. If it is, one of the things, regardless of what drives us, because it could be different for everybody, but we all want to feel valued. So, you know, if there's no communication there, the first challenge that I mentioned, then that recruiter may not feel valued, and that can also just lead to feelings of disconnect, and then you may have challenges. Okay, so we're talking about, so communication, what drives your recruiter? Oh, so if your organization is working with your internal recruiting team only, I recommend sitting down with each of your internal recruiters and gaining a better understanding of what drives them. Because if it's freedom versus security, maybe you want to switch up, if there's an opportunity to do so, how they are compensated. Maybe they're driven by greater risk, greater reward. And so see if there's some things that you can switch around to help stimulate what drives them. Maybe it's increased responsibility. Maybe it is empowering others, and there's certain areas of aspects of their job that they're really good at that maybe they can bring to the team and train others on. So when you take the time to find out what drives your recruiters, then you can better help them tap into that, and you guys can establish a better connection. I don't know what this is looking like on you guys' end, because on my end, of course, the internet keeps going in and out, so it's choppy, but I'm doing the best I can since we're live. So the third thing, the reason I wanted to mention today, as far as why you might not be getting the right candidates and enough of the right resumes, and what to do about it, is process. Do you have an established process in place? So if you're working with external recruiters, I recommend, if it's a new relationship, interview that recruiter. Ask them, it doesn't have to be like a formal interview, but have a conversation with them. Ask them about what their process is like, how they find candidates, and how they present candidates. So for me, for example, I've got my process, always working to improve, and when I submit a candidate, I'm going to send not just a resume, I'm going to send a brief write-up and some bullet points. And that's going to help the manager save time and focus right in on It's going to help the manager save time and focus right in on why I am endorsing this candidate. A brief write-up, just a short paragraph with the specifics and important key points and some bullet points. Bullet points are great, just like in a resume. A resume can still be it can be a distraction away from your role as a hiring manager. You're in the middle of your day, you pause to open an email, you look at a resume. If all you have is a resume and you don't have anything else to understand, why is this candidate looking, or why are they interested in this particular opportunity? Why does the recruiter feel like their background, if it doesn't jump off the resume, is a potential fit? What are some of their intangible skill sets? What kind of money do they need to make in order for their next move to make sense? This is important information that you need to know, hiring managers. So find out what your recruiter's process is. Sometimes I'll even send new clients, new hiring managers, a mock write-up. This is a sample of how I work. giving them an example of how I work so that they can feel confident. You want to feel, the better you get to know your recruiter and their process, the more confident you're going to feel in their search efforts and in their ability to deliver for you. And I recommend finding just one or two recruiters that you work well with and really working to build that relationship. Because if you are working with multiple recruiters, you're going to get more distractions. They're going to be sending you multiple follow-up emails and figuring out which recruiter sent which candidate, and building those relationships is going to be much more challenging and unlikely. So it might make more sense and might actually save you time to just work with a couple recruiters that you can work to build and nurture that relationship, and then follow back up with them again, back to the communication. If their process is not working for you, or you need more, or you need something different, let them know. One of my hiring managers sometimes hiring managers, I will find, will delay the interview process getting started. And so I know that there's a reason for that. And it's probably that they're stressed and managing multiple different things, but maybe they need more information. And so when you can follow back up with your recruiter and say, thank you for sending this. I need this information. I need to know this. Can you add this to your notes? Can you add this these few questions into your interview when you're speaking with candidates? Have them, and you can adapt the process with your recruiter so that you will work better together, and they will work better for you, because a good recruiter is going to want to deliver for you. And especially the more you can nurture and grow that relationship. Okay, so I think I covered it all. Just recapping, and I'm going to check back in, of course, on the poll results later in the week. And if maybe turnover or managing the process is in the lead, then I'll speak on one of those topics next. If you have a question for me, would like to connect, and if there's a challenge, I'm going to drop my email here. If you have a question for me, if you are having a challenge in your interviewing, recruiting, hiring process, and you'd like to connect and see what advice I might have, feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. Sorry that this one was a little bit rough today, a little bit choppy. Hopefully the next one will be better. And until the next time, happy hiring. We will see you guys soon.